What's going on, you guys? Josh here, also known as Harry Tornado. In today's video, I want to give you guys a full breakdown on how I source. I want to talk about how I choose the locations that I source at for a given day, how I choose the right times to go to those locations, and how I navigate the store once I'm inside. I think this video may be pretty helpful for newer resellers that maybe have some struggles when it comes to sourcing, but I think it'll also be pretty entertaining, so stick around, should be fun. It's raining out here, so I don't want to spend too much time out here, but the first rule I want to talk about is making the most of your sourcing time. This is my favorite Goodwill to go to because it has a retail store and the clearance center. So with one trip, the same amount of gas, I'm able to hit 2 different stores, which really maximizes my chances of finding some good stuff. I know not everybody's going to have 2 stores back to back like this, but maybe look for a Goodwill and a Salvation Army that are within like a mile of each other, just so you can get the most out of your gas and time. The sponsor of today's video is Lumē deodorant, and I'll get into more of that later on in the video. When I get in the store, I usually head straight back to the electronics, and I walk through this women's shoe section. I don't know a lot about women's shoes, so I'm really just looking for anything that catches my eye. When the employees are bringing things out, they'll bring them out in a big buggy and then put them out one by one. So when they're not looking, I'll just kind of dig through here to see what's going on, but I didn't find anything there today. So as you can see, the electronics section was a little lacking today, but again, this is the first section of the store that I come to. I'm always looking out for VCRs or vintage kitchen equipment or anything like that. Occasionally when I'm thrifting, I'll find stuff for me personally, and I found this teapot for $2.92. There's also a sealed container of Earl Grey tea right next to it. So I enjoy tea. I went ahead and picked those up for myself. After the electronics, I just make my way down to the sporting goods. I look for tennis rackets, racquetball rackets, roller skates, golf clubs, baseball bats, anything like that. I always like to look down in this little hole to make sure there's nothing interesting down there, and today there wasn't. Then I make my way through the kitchen equipment. I'm looking for anything like Le Creuset pots or Cutco knives, stuff like that. Then this next shelf is plates and mugs. I don't really buy a lot of mugs or plates, but I occasionally find some nice Pyrex dishes or things like that I could sell, locally. After this, I make my way to the shoes, but before we get into that, I want to talk to you guys about how to decide what time to thrift. The first rule, if you want to call it that, would just be to go often. I can't express how important this is. If you want to learn a thrift store schedule, you have to go at least 3 to 4 days a week. Doing so will allow you to learn the schedule. Most thrift stores typically have some sort of schedule that they stick to. Maybe they put out new shoes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Maybe they put out electronics once a week. Just go often and learn the schedule through trial and error. And last but not least, you could always just ask. Ask a manager, ask an employee. Just say, I buy a lot of goods, a lot of used electronics, a lot of used shoes. When do you guys think would be the best time for me to come to find the best stuff? Most of the time, they want to sell their stuff just as bad as you want to buy it, so they'll be happy to tell you. So I come to the men's shoe section first, just because that's what I'm most comfortable with. I like to start at the top of the shelf, because that's where they put the boots usually. Then I make my way to the middle here. I found this pair of Sperry dress shoes, but they had a little scuff on the toe, or a little stain on the toe, and a scuff on the side, so I went ahead and put those back. I did find this pair of Johnston & Murphy. They were like men's dress shoes, but they were sheepskin leather, so I went ahead and picked these up. They were in pretty good condition, and I think I should be able to get a pretty good amount of money for those, maybe 40, 50 bucks. I always look at the bottom shelf as well, because very few people bother to look down there. I have found countless numbers of really great shoes on the bottom shelf. After the men's dress shoes, I go over to the athletic shoes. My Goodwills have the women's and the men's shoes together in this section, so I'm just looking for anything that's in really good condition and that I could sell for at least 25 bucks or so. I don't think I found anything today. Just a few things I picked up were just a little too worn. But generally, I do find some really good stuff in this section. So my Goodwill buys return pallets from Target, and they put all the stuff that they buy on this one shelf in the middle of the store. So I always look here to see if there's anything worth picking up. All this stuff is generally overpriced. I did scan this baby seat. They wanted $21.95 for it, but the only sold comp was for $63 with free shipping. It would probably cost a lot to ship, so I went ahead and passed on that. I always come back to the furniture section as well. I've had some luck flipping things locally on Facebook Marketplace. I'll buy a table for 15 or 20 bucks and sell it for 75 or 80 on Facebook. So I'm just looking for anything that's solid wood, anything mid-century modern, things that are in style. Right next to the furniture is the bag section, so this back wall has backpacks on it. I can't say I've had a ton of luck with backpacks, but I just always look through there to make sure there's no Tumi bags sitting back there. I'll walk past the purses, but it's kind of the same thing as the women's dress shoes. I just don't know a ton about them, so I'm just looking for anything that catches my eye. I haven't been sourcing a ton of clothing lately, but I'll always walk by the end caps, which are these like end things where people put returns or the store tries to make outfits. A lot of times you can find really good stuff there that people overlook. Another place that's commonly overlooked is the clothing rack next to the dressing rooms. You can find really good stuff there. After this, I'll walk down the hard good aisle one more time just to make sure I didn't overlook anything. I had a guy comment on one of my videos that says, "Hey man, you missed the Dymo 4XL at this timestamp." And I went back and watched. It was in this thrift store, and there was a Dymo 4XL on the shelf that I did not see. So I always make a double take through this section just to make sure I didn't overlook anything good. Then I'll run through the book section. I do not scan books, it's just not my cup of tea, but I do look for Bibles because they can be worth a lot of money if you can find the right ones. I like to walk by this blanket section just to make sure there's no vintage Pendleton blankets, but I can't say I've ever found one here. Then the last stop of my sourcing day at this Goodwill is going to be the glass case. I don't usually find anything in here. Most of this stuff is just overpriced junk. But today I did see two things. I saw this stack of video games and these Nike shoes.
Could I see the stack of green video games and those blue shoes on the bottom, please? Sure, okay. Thank you so much. Okay. I'll get those, but not the video games. Okay. Thank you so much.
So after I left the retail side of the Goodwill store, I did go over to the bins location or the Goodwill Outlet. However, I spent about 30 minutes in there and the only thing I picked up were these FootJoy golf shoes. These aren't crazy. I think I spent $2.50 on these, and they also need new spikes on the bottom. So once I spend like $7 on some new spikes, get them cleaned up, they'll probably sell for 25 or 30 bucks plus shipping. Nothing crazy here. And the only reason I'm adding this into the video is because I feel like a lot of you think that I hit home runs at the Goodwill bins all the time. And I want to show you this today to show you that the bins are not always that good. Even for me, in arguably the best bins location in the country compared to other ones I've seen on YouTube, it's still not that great every day. Today, like I said, 30 minutes in there, I didn't find anything but that pair of shoes. So sometimes it's really, really good. Sometimes it's not. I just don't want you guys to get like a false sense of the bins here. Like it's not that great every day. They even put out a whole new row of stuff while I was there and I didn't find anything in the whole row. So I just wanted to be as transparent as possible with you guys. I do not find great stuff all the time. You can't hit a home run every time you're up to bat. So I just picked up a few things in that Goodwill store. One of them is a huge item. These shoes, I am just flabbergasted at how much these shoes are worth. But before we get into that, I promise I'll break that down for you. I do want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Lumē deodorant. First of all, I'd like to mention that I do not take sponsorships lightly. If you're a YouTube creator with over 1,000 subscribers, I'm sure you, just like all of us, get emails every week from these companies that want you to do unboxings or review videos on your channel. And it's usually some cheap Chinese knockoff product that nobody wants. And it's just not going to be something that I feel like I can morally recommend to my viewers. However, I've done a lot of research into this company and I've tried the product myself and I am a lifetime user guaranteed. So I feel very comfortable recommending this product to you guys. I've told you guys in previous videos that I've struggled with body odor my entire adult life. I've told you that I currently use 2 sticks of deodorant all the time. I'll take my nightly shower, put on an antiperspirant, and then put on the deodorant right on top of that. So it's just a lot of work. And the thing that really gets me is that I'll shower at night, put on my 2 sticks of deodorant, and then when I wake up like 8 hours later, I already stink a little bit. I've tried so many different deodorants in my life: Old Spice, Right Guard, Axe, Speed Stick, Dove for Men. Some might make me stink a little less, but they leave a nasty residue in my armpit that's hard to wash off. Some might be easy to wash off, but they make me stink after like 5 hours. So I saw this Facebook ad for Lumē. The production value of the ad was just really well done, which caught my attention. Then I went into the comments on that ad through Facebook, and I saw that the comments were filled with people who have struggled with body odor their whole life. They've tried Lumē and they say it works like nothing else. So I decided to pull the trigger and order my first stick of Lumē deodorant. So the first thing that surprised me about Lumē was the shipping speed. Even during the holiday season when everything's so crazy and backed up, I still received my deodorant within 2 business days. I was really excited to try this deodorant out for the first time because I was hoping that I finally found something to make me not stink. And my wife was also hoping that I found something to make me not stink. So the same day I got it, that night when I took my shower, I applied the Lumē deodorant instead of my normal 2 sticks of Dove for Men, and I went to sleep, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. I woke up about 7 a.m. that next day. I smelled my armpit. I didn't smell like anything. Nothing. The scent of this deodorant that I picked was lavender sage, which is sort of feminine, but I like it. But the thing is, it's not an overwhelming scent. Like, it smells really nice when you put it on, but as you go out your day, the scent kind of dies down a little bit, but the performance of the deodorant doesn't. So I was really happy and kind of surprised that it didn't stink that morning. So I went out the rest of my day. I went thrifting. I went digging through the bins. So that night, about 8 p.m., about 23 hours after I first applied Lumē, I did another sniff test, wiping your armpit with your hand, smelling your hand like men do. I still smelled like nothing. Lumē advertises that it has a 72-hour protection, and I do not think I am ballsy enough to go 3 days without a shower, but so far I've tested Lumē for a full 23 hours and it works perfectly. Again, the scent is very nice. It's not overwhelming. I think there's 3 or 4 scents to choose from, so you can kind of pick one that meets your needs. Lumē is also aluminum free, which means you're not putting dangerous chemicals into your body through your pores. It's also baking soda free, so there's no rash. You can put it anywhere. I think the ad said anywhere that starts with a P. Your pits, privates, pafoot, pabutt. Again, guys, I do not take these promotions lightly. I appreciate every single one of you, and I want to make sure that any company or product that I recommend to you is something that I have done research on, I have used in person, and is something that I truly enjoy, and I think you will too. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you guys want to check out Lumē and see if you'd like to order some for yourself. Again, I could not recommend this stuff enough. It has worked wonders. It's the best deodorant I've ever used in my entire life. If you guys do end up buying some of this deodorant and it works for you, let me know. Send me an email or drop a comment on this video. I want to see who out there in the world this deodorant could help. There's seems to be thousands and thousands of satisfied customers every single day, and I'm really excited to see where this company goes and how many people they can truly help. So now I can get into these shoes. These are, I guess, Kobe Bryant 9th Legacy Edition basketball high top shoes. Again, these were in the glass case at Goodwill. These were only $10.92. Now, this was surprising because usually when Goodwill thinks shoes are really nice and they put them in the glass case, they're usually anywhere from $15 to $35. And they're usually not good shoes. They'll be like regular Nike free runs that are worth 18 bucks on eBay, and they've got them marked up to 25 bucks. And they're also completely bald on the bottom. So it's just junk usually. Honestly, I did not look up these shoes while I was in the store. I just saw that they were in really good condition and only $10.92, so I just took a chance on them. I got to the car and decided to look up the model number on the inside tongue, which was, it's like right in there. Like, you just look at, it's like 6 numbers and a dash and 3 more numbers. And usually if you just type that into Google, it'll tell you the exact model of the shoe. Now, I got excited because when I typed this into Google, the immediate results were a StockX and a GOAT listing for $350. I did some further research on eBay and I found that some listings sold for like 40 or 50 bucks, but one of them had like a gum sole instead of a white sole, so I don't know if there's like a variant listing there. But there were also sold comps all the way up to $350 for the shoe on eBay. So I'm very excited about these shoes. I'm probably going to do a little bit more research just to make sure they are authentic because I don't know a ton about these shoes. I mean, everything on them looks legit. I mean, I've checked the stitching on the side. I've checked the little carbon fiber thing here. There's some small little dots on the sole. I don't know if you can see that. Some small little dots on the sole. It's kind of hard to see, but I don't think most of the fake ones would have that. The carbon fiber looks legit. Everything about these shoes looks right. For me, again, I'm not a professional, but everything looks pretty solid. I do know that eBay just started a program where they are not charging selling fees for any shoe sales over $100. So these would obviously qualify for that. So if I can sell these on eBay for 350 bucks with no final value fee, that's saving me 35 bucks right there. So I'm very, very excited about these shoes. And it just goes to show that you should never ignore that glass case up front. For me, I've almost been conditioned to ignore the glass case because everything that Goodwill puts in there is just overpriced junk. It's stuff that they think is valuable, like those Nike free runs with, you know, rubbed off bottoms that they think are worth 25 bucks. It's just, I look in there all the time and I never see anything. This is the first thing I bought out of a glass case in probably 6 months. That shows you like how rare it is to find something of value in there. And I am just super glad that I looked in there today. So out of all the places I showed you in the video to check, just make sure you do not overlook the glass case. So that is the breakdown on how I source. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You've got to do some work and figure out what works best for you. I just want to show you guys how I do it. Maybe help you if you're at a stumbling block and you just don't know which way to go. If you guys like this video today, be sure to hit the thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out a ton. I know I'm guilty myself of watching like a whole video and really enjoying it, but I just don't remember to go back and hit the thumbs up button. And it really does help. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate your time. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.